The Blackpool Pleasure Beach 2019 season is all over. So what does that mean for Pleasure Beach Experience? Well, I'm going to be talking about that in this month's episode of Pleasure Beach Experience Monthly. But before I do, we're going to be talking about the excellent Halloween season that we had here on Pleasure Beach Experience, as me, Mark and Mullet take a look back at some of our favourite moments from last month's entertainment during the scare season. We'll also be hearing from some excellent UK-based theme park vloggers who had a great Halloween too. We have driven 1,435 miles to cover so many Halloween events this October, and now it's time for us to do a couple of reviews. And for once we've got Mullet, and we've also got Mark as well, and there's no PBE banner this time because we are filming at Gatwick in the Premier Inn just before we go and do Tully's once again. So we're not filming this right at the end of October because otherwise we just wouldn't get out in time for PBE Monthly being out at the start of November. But we're going to review all of our favourites, some of our highlights. We're not going to go on for hours, well, we don't think.
Well, we'll try not to.
Yeah. But yeah, we're going to talk about a couple of our highlights, favourite mazes, favourite roaming actors, other highlights, what's been a surprise and stuff like that. Maybe what we'd improve if we get time for that. We'll start with Mullet. You've quite a veteran with the Halloween stuff, especially in the south.
Yeah.
What has been your favourite maze of 2019?
I'll say with absolute confidence, Creek Freak Massacre at Thorpe Park Resort.
And why is that?
It's just, it was so surprising. Like, you just tell that Thorpe Park have put everything into that maze. I loved the sets, the amount of actors in there, it's perfect. You know, it's just, I don't know what it is, it's just so, it's so immersive in there.
Yes.
You know, and you go through and it, you know, so many things I've wanted to see in a maze. Like before, I've always said, like, you know, I'd love to go into a maze where you go into like a room full of smoke and strobes and there's chainsaws in there. And that is what you get on Creek Freak.
Definitely.
It was like a dream come true when I went through that maze. It just hit the spot straight away. But yeah, that's all I can say.
One thing I'd say is, for me personally, is that Creek Freak's not my favourite, but I think that Creek Freak shows just how much Merlin can do with a maze when they're given full creativity, when they don't need an IP to sort of work to. As an example, with a couple of the Merlin mazes that we've seen this year, we've seen the Attic, we've seen Darkest Depths and Creek Freak, which we did what feels like ages ago now. They have all shown just how good that Merlin magic making and Merlin entertainment can actually be when they're given, you do what you want, there's your budget, go for it. And it just goes to show just how creative the great people in Merlin can be, because they've shown that. They've really shown that this year with those three mazes. And when we did Creek Freak, I wasn't expecting it to be as good, but then we did it a second time. And that was just crazy.
That's another thing I've just found with Creek Freak as well. Like, I've been through it over 10 times now, and every run through I've had on it has been incredibly consistent. I've not had 1 week run through on it yet. Like, some mazes you go through, they're really good one time and then they're rubbish. You go through them again and they're rubbish, and they just vary. Creek Freak, I have not had that at all. Every run through has hit the spot. It's been perfect.
I'm just smiling because Mark's not got PBE gear on.
It makes a change.
I'm just looking at the screen there and I'm just going, yeah, sorry mate, you're on the smallest chair.
Yeah, I'm on the smallest chair.
There's
being pushed out of the way.
Isn't prepared.
Yeah, sorry.
That's alright, mate. So it's like being at Christmas anyway, like bringing in.
We've got emergency chairs, haven't we? We've had to bring chairs from another room, so hopefully the Premier Inn won't charge us for you know, a chair fee or something like that, some sort of Gatwick supplement. So Mark, I'm still thinking about my favourite maze, so I'm going to put you on the spot. What's yours?
I've been thinking about this for about 4 hours. There's been so many good mazes. I just can't pinpoint what one was the best. There's some that really stand out, like Squealer's Yard at the Hull was incredible. Fleshpot from Howlow Stream was just absolute. It was just nuts.
Doing this against the wall.
Yeah, it was so dark, and so the acts in there were incredible on it. So those are two that really stand out for me. And obviously like Chop Shop and Wastelands at Tully's. Them 4 mazes for me are literally outstanding.
Yeah. I'm probably going to say my favourite has been the flesh pot, because even though I was terrified, I've not laughed so much through a maze as I did in that one, because it was especially when the guy with the axe came at you, and it was just standing like this. But I've got to say as well, Cornevil's, whatever it was called,
Cornevil's Corneval, the clown maze as well.
Yeah, the clown maze at Hollowscream was just, you know, you do so many clown mazes and you think, yeah, this is going to be like all the others, and then you get in there and they've got gravity room, and they've got actors in a mirror maze, and they've got chainsaws coming from everywhere. They've got the giant flange with a chainsaw.
Yeah, but they had the strobe effect as well on it.
Yeah.
Where they popped up like as in Common 13 style. It was just...
You've got the actor that knew you.
I know.
Fucking hell, man! Mark! Mark, yes, Mark! How does he know my name? How does he know who we are?
They knew who you were, and well, let's be fair. Go back to a couple of months ago. What did you say in a Scare Track podcast? Come on, guys, come at me, ambush me, scare me.
Do you regret saying that now?
Slightly.
That's why I didn't say anything like that.
Everyone's like literally ambushed me now. I was just like, oh, fair enough. I've set myself up here, haven't I?
Yeah. So I've got to say it's really difficult to pinpoint a favourite, but I think I can't remember doing a bad one.
No,
really.
Even like the seance from last night and Cage were really good at Frightmare.
Yeah.
It was just so good.
I think probably the weakest maze would have to be Project 42 or maybe Do or Die. They're the two where I'm going. They were probably the weakest run-throughs I've had. But I know that you really like Do or Die, but I've never had a really scary run-through of it yet.
I've had, like, since after press night, I've had some really mental run-throughs on Do or Die. I really enjoy the maze, but we've all got a different opinion.
Yeah, exactly. So. And it's not even criticising the maze. No. It's just I've done so many. I think that was one of the weaker ones, but it was still decent. Yeah. That's the thing. It wasn't a bad maze. It just wasn't the best. So I think we can move on to roaming actors. Now, there's been some places with amazing roaming actors and some where there's not been quite as many. One thing that we said in the Alton Towers review is the lack of roaming actors really ruins the Scarefest atmosphere.
I think one of their biggest mistakes was getting rid of the scare zones.
Yeah, completely agree. They need to get them back.
Yeah,
I'd happily see a maze go to get back Freak Show or Zombie Apocalypse.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, roaming actors, Mark, we'll start with you.
I've got to say the roaming actors at Hollowscream, every one of them were fantastic. The ringmaster was ace.
Yeah.
The granny old lady that had me running off from a chainsaw and then falling over was just good. But every single one of them, because he had like something for everybody, like going down. So obviously had the guy with the clown with the chain that was going around whacking everything, and it was just so good.
Yeah. And I think for me, what I want to say on Hollowscream before I ask Mullet what was his favourite roaming actors, because I can tell he's still thinking about it, is that all of the roaming actors at Hollowscream really offered something. They all had a different role. Yes. Like the girl with the clown girl that had the baseball bat, how she'd just walk up to like one of them bins and just whack it with that baseball bat, and everyone in the area would just lift because he'd just jumped. And then of course you've got, like you say, the guy with the chain. Yeah. And he was smacking the door, going, "Come on, get out of here, get in there!" And you've got the guy who offered to buy you from Mike.
Yeah.
And
you had the ringmaster, because he was brilliant in the head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was fantastic. You and Graham doing that as well. Yeah. And then they had me and Mike dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had us. He had us all doing some daft stuff there.
Yeah.
Favourite roaming actors?
I'm torn between two events: the Howl.
Yeah.
And Tully's.
Okay.
The Howl, I know you think there should be more roaming actors than
I think
Howl.
so.
I think because the Howl's not a very big event.
Yeah.
I think they've got enough roaming actors there, just with the size of it. And I think my highlight from the Howl was the guy in the wheelchair just going around with the chainsaw.
Yes,
that
was excellent.
Cracking. That was so fun. I just got the giggles when I saw that.
Yeah.
I got the giggles now around the way because I hate chainsaws. But yeah, like that's the Howl. Tully's, we've all done Tully's. the atmosphere there is just electric every time I go there, and the roaming actors contribute to that so much.
Yes.
There is such a huge amount of roaming actors there. You know, you've got the nurses, you've got the guys with the chainsaws.
Yeah.
Brian.
What's that?
Brian.
Yeah.
Brian.
Rolling with the boys.
Yeah. Tully's every year just hits that so well. So yeah, I'm torn between those two for me.
Yeah, cool. Well, you've mentioned two that I was going to mention straight away. Brian, he cracked me up when he did the mic. All right, our kid. That was so good when he did that. That was brilliant. And of course, you've got to mention the nurses.
Yeah.
They are fantastic.
Yeah.
And they're so good in what they do.
Yeah.
They sort of get everyone together, they get everyone laughing, they get everyone involved. They had you doing your swaying, they had Graham doing whatever he was trying to do. Mike ran a mile. As soon as he saw that, oh, I might have to do some squats like I did last year, Mike was like, no, I'm off, I'm not getting involved. But yeah, they're great because they're really good in their role, but they also are happy to have pictures with you as well, and they'll obviously chat to you in character, and they do make you blush, and some of the stuff they come out with is just so funny.
Yeah, quite outrageous.
Yeah, it is outrageous, and it's great, and it's good in this day and age that they can do that, because a lot of places would be like, oh, we better not do that in case we upset anyone, but they don't upset anyone.
No.
They give everyone a good night, and you watch
so well.
They do, and you watch any vlog from Tully's and the nurses are always in it because they interact with everyone so well.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tully's for me because of Brian, the nurses. You also had the goat guy as well, and you've got the clowns. There's so many roaming actors at Tully's. You just everywhere you turn, it's like actor, actor. It's great, and I think they nail it. They absolutely nail it. And I think you said that in the vlog as well. Whereas a lot of places have cut back.
Yeah.
Tully's haven't. They're still offering that.
Keep doing it.
Yeah, please keep doing it. It's not all about the mazes.
No.
So let's move on to favourite or surprise package of Halloween. We have done, like we said, so many events, and there's so many where you go, you think this is going to be amazing, but this one's better. So, what was it for you?
Frightmare was really good, but for me, Hollow Scream.
Yeah, the biggest surprise was Hollow Scream.
Because you go with no expectations, you don't know anything about it, you don't know anything about the mazes, and then when you go in there and you're locked in like the pre-show to the actual event, and they come out with chainsaws, they put projection mapping up, and you're thinking, you know what, you've set the bar really high, and then they just carry it on throughout the whole thing. I mean, the food offering that they had, I said the roaming actors, the merch that they had available, and then the mazes were just on top of that, and it was just like, you know what, this is a very, very well-rounded event, and I came away literally speechless from it.
Yeah, I've got to say, two really big surprises for me was Chop Shop was the first one, because I've made it very obvious in the past that I thought that was really weak last year, and I was really surprised when we went through and there was just not many actors in there, and I was just like, really? Because I remember you'd said the year before that it was just full on.
Yeah.
Whereas this year I got to it and I'm thinking, is it going to be any good?
Yeah.
And we got through it and they hammered us the whole way through. I remember at one point there was a chainsaw in front, behind and next to us, and I'm like, where the hell have you three actors come from?
I didn't do it with you on press night, but when I went through it, I got separated.
Yeah.
And I think I had about 4 or 5 chainsaws around me. I lost count. Like, I just sort of zoned out at that point. Like, that wasn't a good time for me. So
I can well imagine having seen you run off from every chainsaw we've been faced with.
Pretty much, yeah.
But yeah, that was a big surprise, and I think as well, like Mark said, Hollow Scream. You go there and you know that Scream Park have got a big influence on it, and you know that it's going to be good, but you don't really know what to expect. And like you go through Singularity, which needs to be mentioned.
Yes, it does.
And I led in that one, and the smoke room, that was something else. I mean, we couldn't even film to explain what it was like, because you may have seen from that vlog, I just disappear out of shot when Mark's filming me, because the room was just filled with fog or smoke, whatever it was.
It wasn't even like you was that far in front of me, and you literally just couldn't see anything. So.
No, and then if you tried to talk, you got a gob full of like fog or smoke, and you were just like, okay, I'm not going to try and talk. Oh, there's the wall. Right, do I go left or right? There was no actors in there, and I've got to say I'm glad, But I was so on edge in there because I was like, there is going to be an actor and they're just going to get me out of nowhere here. But that whole event was fantastic and it was such a great surprise. We knew it'd be good, but we'd had such a rubbish day with driving, getting there. We'd hit traffic after traffic after traffic, and the whole way we're thinking, we really hope this is going to be worth it. And we get there and it was fabulous. It was just so good, and it doesn't get enough recognition. So please, especially if you're from the north and you like your scare events,
go to it.
Make sure you do Hallow Scream in York at York Maze next year, and especially if you're from Yorkshire, because you will love it. Mullet, what has been your biggest surprise?
This feels like so long ago now, but Farmageddon.
Yeah.
Farmageddon set the season up so well. I've walked into Farmageddon with no idea what to expect.
Yeah.
Hadn't done much research into it at all. From the moment we went in, the moment we just got the intro, the moment the owner gave his speech, we had all the Roman actors come out.
Yeah.
That just set the evening up so well. It was just an unbelievable evening.
A bloody snake.
Let's not talk about the snake.
Let's not.
Snakes and chainsaws. No.
Yeah, and you ran quite a lot that evening.
Yeah.
I think you probably got really fit after that evening because the amount of running you did.
Yes. And I fell over. That was good.
Yeah, that was quite entertaining, I've got to say.
Not for me.
Yeah, it was very entertaining for me, I've got to say. But he also did it in red in the Howl as well.
Yes.
So that's your biggest surprise?
Yeah, Farmageddon.
Cool. Now, before we move on to the other vloggers who we've spoken to about Halloween and their thoughts on the season, let's just talk about our last few highlights. Have you got any more highlights you think that you want to mention?
No, as I say, when I came into it, like, are you really worried that a lot of the mazes would be the same?
Yeah.
But from the Scream Park ones that we've been to, like Frightmare, the Howl, Hallow Scream and Tully's, every single maze has been different.
Yeah.
And they've put their own stamp on it.
Yeah.
Because obviously the clown maze that we went in at Frightmare was totally different to any other clown maze at any of them other events.
That was a show, that wasn't a maze, was it?
No, exactly. And then you got the clown maze, which was totally different because it was like a proper maze as well, like Hallow Scream.
Yeah.
And they built it into like the kids' play area that was in it. So they'd used all like the mirror maze that's going through the day. So literally every single one you get to is obviously with a 3D. So every maze has been different, and that's what I've really enjoyed about the whole Halloween season. There's not been a maze that's been just replicated.
Yeah. I agree. I've got to say that I've not mentioned it yet. Alton Towers need a shout out because we went to Alton Towers and we were both saying this feels like we're doing it for the sake of it. And we're just going, we've done all these mazes that aren't at theme parks and they're at such a different standard than what we've been used to doing them at Towers in the past. And you get to Towers and you think, these are all going to be family friendly. Darkest Depths, Mark was swearing before we'd even got in the maze because he got him in the intro. And then the whole maze was fantastic.
Yeah.
But the attic got me as well. The story was creepy, but the whole maze was really good. Subspecies is just subspecies. You know what it does. I've heard a few calls for that to be changed, but I disagree. I think that needs to stay. I think maybe add a few actors, but that has to stay. That is nasty. That is a real nasty maze. If you get separated in that, you're done.
Because
that's happened to me.
Yeah, it's happened to me, but obviously I was one of the first ones out this time, and I noticed that the group after we'd followed in had come out before both you, Gemma, and Jimmy.
Yeah.
So because you was just being sent round, and that's the type of thing that you want from a maze.
Yeah.
So it really took me. To be honest with you, Alton Towers really took me by surprise about how good it was and how well put together the mazes were.
I dare say if they'd had scare zones, they'd have been probably top 3 event.
Yeah,
they're that good. Highlights as well for me was, I've got to say, if anyone's watching from the Halloween events we've done, thank you so much for all the invites that we've had. Starting with Farmageddon, Fort Park, Extreme Scream, everyone has been so nice to us, invited us down, let us film, let us review, give us the option to see behind the scenes in some of them, which we've not filmed out of respect, but we have been taken behind the scenes at a couple of the events and shown this is how things are done. We didn't film them out of the request, but we got to see how some of the mazes are done, and it's a real eye-opener. You don't realise just how much detail is done behind the walls that you're being scared in. And I won't give too much away because obviously we were asked not to, but honestly, can't appreciate and say how much we appreciate all the hospitality we have received this Halloween season. It has been incredible and we really appreciate it. Mullet, what's your highlights been?
Other highlights got to be Extreme Screen Park.
Agreed.
That was a really, really, really good event.
Yeah,
Zach,
yeah.
White, if you're watching, I will get you back for what you did to me in Ashdown. I will get you back. And Tommy as well.
No,
if
Tommy,
you're
yeah.
watching, thank you. You were
Thank you.
incredible in the village.
Yeah.
But Zach, I will get you.
Your card has just been marked
Yeah.
for Extreme next September.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. I will get you at Blackpool opening weekend. What else? There's too much that I've done. I think this year, since I've been doing Halloween events, this is the year I've done the most.
We've
And
ramped it up, haven't we?
Yeah, yeah, and I'm knackered from it, but
Yeah.
hey ho. But yeah, just every event that I've been to has, you can see like just how much work the owners put into these things.
Yeah.
You've got to appreciate that.
Yeah.
There's too many highlights to go through. Every event I've been to, you know, they've got their good mazes, they've got their not so good mazes. I'm really struggling. But yeah, Extreme Screen Park.
Agreed.
Farmageddon was such a big highlight for me. That
Yeah.
just set the season up so well. Tully's always really good. The atmosphere at Tully's just is what makes that event.
It's, in a weird way, it's magical.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
exactly,
got a magic
exactly.
feel about it because it feels a far
Yeah.
world away from
Yeah.
reality, and that's what you can only ask for. You go to get scared,
Yeah.
and you come away and you've been scared,
Yeah.
but you've also had a great night
Yeah.
because, like we said,
Yeah.
you've had that interaction with everyone that's
Yeah.
there as well. And you never see anyone having a bad time at
Yeah.
Tully's. Everyone's always buzzing. You
Yeah.
can just sense that while
Yeah.
you're there. You just pick up on that.
Yeah.
And I love the bonfires there as well.
Yeah.
They really add to it.
I'm going to mention Thorpe as well. I just want to bring
Yeah.
up Fright Nights quickly. You know, we all know last year at Fright Nights it was quantity over quality. There was just too much last year, but this year, yeah, I think they really hit they've really hit the spot.
Yeah.
Because we've got the right amount of mazes. Every time every time since press night and I've gone to Fright Nights, I'm just having a better time.
Yeah.
You know, it is improved. Every time I go, it's improved. Yeah, pretty much that's it.
I think the saddest thing for me with Thorpe is I probably won't get to do it again
Yeah.
this season with
Yeah.
Fright Nights because we obviously did it at the end of September.
Yeah.
And since then, every weekend there has been a Halloween event,
Yeah.
and there's literally not been a minute where I could have gone, yeah, I'll go to Thorpe and do Creek Freak and have a
Yeah.
ride on Stealth. It's just not happened. There's
Yeah.
just not been that time. And that's probably my only low light of the Halloween season. There's not enough
Yeah.
time to do more.
No, definitely.
Because we've had quite a few emails off quite a few scare events saying, do you guys fancy coming down and filming? And it's like, I'd love to, but we literally don't have the time now, and that's the sad thing about it. But maybe next year we'll be able to have an even more crazy schedule.
I think next year we've got to sort of look at cross coverage.
Yes, we have.
Like, you know, you and Mark do the sort of events up north, and I can focus on doing.
Hey, you're not getting rid of us that easily.
Oh, yeah.
It's worth a shot.
More events, the better, I tell you.
Yeah, like, you know, that's something we need to look into.
Yeah, I mean the sad thing is, for circumstances we won't go into, we couldn't make it to Screamland, Margate. We were invited and just unfortunately couldn't make it.
Yeah.
But I've had a good chat with them, and we're welcome to go back if we can at any point, especially next year. And as well, Dr. Frights as well. It's just not worked out that we could go after originally planning to go. But we will make sure next year we have even more time to do these things. And next year for me as well, obviously Charlie will be a bit older and we'll be able to work things out a little bit different with whether Becca can finish work a bit earlier or might be working a bit more local to where we live and stuff like that. So it's all things that it's a bit of a learning curve, and we did say at the start of it, it might go really well Halloween, or it might go really bad, and we might get to the end of Halloween and we're going, we really don't like Halloween events anymore, but actually we're going, let's have some more.
Let's go harder.
We were even thinking about going abroad a bit more next year, but I don't think we should. I think we should cover local. I think
Agreed.
We've got too much to do here.
Yeah.
That's the thing, and you know, I think we're going to get more next year potentially.
Yeah, I
So,
think we will fit more in. Like
Yeah.
you say, there will be times where if, say, there's a couple of things that need covering down here, but me and Mark can't go, there's no reason why you can't go. And like you've done it before, you've done Fright Nights before, so I'll put a card in the top of the screen to the Halloween playlist. If you've not seen all of the vlogs, please do, because you will see Mark being violated.
Yeah.
He has been checked up by his local GP.
Yes.
He is okay. He's good to go again next year. we think.
Well, I might have 11 months off. 11 months off now, not doing anything.
No, every time we go to Pleasure Beach, we're going to make you go through Passage del Terra.
No thanks.
Oh, I don't want to talk about that.
He's going to do it.
That's horrible.
He's going to do it solo.
Oh.
That settles up well for Farmageddon.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to move on now to the vloggers who have also been talking to us about Halloween. So big thanks to everyone who has helped us with PBE Monthly. Let's hear from those guys.
Hi, I'm Kip from kiphates.com, and I thought I'd drop in on Pleasure Beach Experience to tell you about my favourite Halloween things that I've done. So first up, the maze that I loved the most. Oh, that's a tricky one. Wastelands Penitentiary is very high up there, and it could be my favourite, but I think my full-on actual favourite has to be Horror at Hitchingbrook House. It's just mad. The actors are very hands-on, and if you saw my vlog, you'd have seen my nose getting bitten, and you'd have seen me being grabbed, pulled and chased. They were mental, so I liked that. It was just a little bit different to the other mazes where they're not as hands-on. Yeah. And my favourite roaming actors, got to say something about Thorpe Park because they did really well this year on that front, but I think Tully's definitely have to win. They've got excellent roaming actors. They're very interactive, very chatty, and they're so good at improvising and thinking on their feet. So I think that's a really good mark of some good roaming actors. And I think the event that surprised me the most was Cursed. Now that is a smaller event that's in Basildon, and I've never heard of it, but it's actually been running for 11 years, and I suppose it can be best described as like a smaller scale Tully's, but it just really kind of blew me away. And I think it's really important to remember these smaller mazes and events that are out there, because they are, well, they can be as good or better than some of the bigger ones. So yeah, I would definitely recommend that. That really did surprise me.
Hi guys, Mikey here from the Scare Track Podcast, the first podcast in the UK dedicated to the scare attraction and haunted house industry. So we've been all around the UK and we've been to Germany this year on the Scare Track Podcast, covering as many events as possible. It's been tiring, shattered now, but it's been spooky, scary, awesome fun, and I wouldn't change it for anything. If you were to ask me my favourite maze, I'll be honest, I think I need a little bit more time to think about it, but if you were to put me on the spot right now, I would probably say Vita Nova from Fear at Avon Valley Scream Park. They really did make that maze fantastic. I love the story, I love the sets, I love the smells, I love the smoke. Those actors were really intense. I've actually seen that attraction elsewhere before, but what Fear at Avon Valley have done to it is absolutely amazing. So yeah, Vita Nova definitely up there. Asking about my favourite street team, I mean, a lot of places really have upped their game. We spoke about the importance of street theatre and roaming characters in scare parks being really important in between the mazes. But I think it's still really hard to beat Tully's Shocktoberfest. They really are a beast in this industry, and their street team is absolutely huge. And who doesn't like naughty nurses? I don't know. The place that surprised me the most in a good way, I'm going to say Alton Towers Scarefest. I've mentioned it on the podcast for the last few years. I do think they have got just a little bit too safe and a little bit too stale, whereas this year, Darkest Depths is probably one of the most beautifully themed attractions I've ever seen here in the UK, Germany and the States. That maze, I think, should be all year round. Darkest Depths really blew me away, and I really enjoyed the attic as well. Very different to any other Terror of the Towers, but I think they needed that. They needed something new, and I really enjoyed the finale. The beast up there really did work really hard to get the scares in. So thanks for listening to my little bit. Thank you to Pleasure Beach Experience guys for inviting me on this episode, and you can check us out at Scare Track. Our Scarecam vlogs, our podcast, our merch, our Patreon, absolutely everything is on our new website, www.scaretrack.co.uk. Cheers, guys.
Yo, my name is Jack Silkstone, and I would say my personal favourite maze that I've done this year would be Creek Freak Massacre at the Full Park Resort. I've done it so many times now, and every single time that I do it, I always have a mad run through. The actors in there are always so energetic. The maze design itself is really, really nice, and yeah, it is my favourite maze that I've done this year. I'd say my favourite roaming team that I've experienced this year would probably be down at Tully's Shocktoberfest. Every year they have an amazing roaming team of actors, and this year is no different, especially with the introduction of their new area, Wastelands, where they've got some new characters, and yeah, they just help to build up the atmosphere so much, and they were always very funny down at Tully's, so yeah. That would be my favourite roaming team. A scare event that has surprised me this year would be Chessington's Halloween, because being at a kids park you wouldn't expect anything too mad. However, after doing their maze at Creepy Caves after dark, it was one of the most intense mazes I've ever done. So yeah, Chessington's Halloween has definitely surprised me this year, purely because of how scary it is. But yeah, big up Chessington, I really, really enjoyed Halloween this year.
Right, hello guys, hope your Halloween season's been just as fun as ours. Done loads, haven't we?
Yeah.
So we are Tom and Stace on YouTube, as well as Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, so yeah, check us out on all of those. First question then that you wanted us to answer, favourite maze? I'll let you go first.
Yeah, so my favourite maze was definitely Wastelands Penitentiary at Tully's. Absolutely loved that maze. It was just the whole facade, the area outside. As soon as we were walking up to it, we were like, wow, this is like Universal level.
Yeah, definitely.
It was just fantastic inside, all the lighting, and it was like, I loved how they had like the prison bit, and like you were going in and inside and out, but that was like my favourite maze. Yeah, absolutely loved it. I'd agree, definitely the standout from Tully's this year, and yeah, probably my favourite maze. I mean, if you had to choose a couple, I'd also give special mentions to the Village, Extreme Scream, just for the level of theming and the length of it. Yeah. And I really like the Singularity, York Maze, Holler-Scream. We love York. Yeah, so there's a few of our favourite mazes. Next question is the best roaming actors. I think we can comfortably agree. Yeah. York Maze Holler-Scream has by far the best roaming actors we've seen at a scare Corny event. The clown is just amazing.
Purely because he's like their mascot.
He's there every year, it's the same guy, and
he just runs about with a chainsaw.
He's just so funny. And then this year they had Corny's mum, and he was great, wasn't he?
Yeah, and they also have like Leatherface. To be honest, there's loads of roaming actors in such a small space. Yeah, because obviously it's run by the same guys that run Tully's, so they've got like the twins that are similar to the twins at Tully's as well. Yeah, so they're our favourite roaming actors. Yeah, the last question then, what event surprised you the most? Well, most of the events we've done this year are the ones we've done previously. Yeah. So I would say the one event that we haven't done before probably surprised us most, just for like how good the acting was. The acting was really surprising. We went in not really expecting anything from it, but it was actually a decent event. So I'd say Terror in the Trees. Over at Beamish Hall in County Durham. So it's like a continuous maze through the woods. Very muddy. Very muddy. But no, some great acting and a decent storyline as well. Yeah, I liked how it was continuous, because it was like building you up to go to the clowns. So there was like loads of different actors, and they kept mentioning the clowns and stuff, but really enjoyed that. Yeah. It was good. No, but there you go. There's our thoughts on this year's Halloween season. Looking forward to 2020 already. Yeah, it's going to be a good year. Yeah.
Halloween, we did, to be honest, we didn't go all out Halloween this year. I would have liked to have done more events, but we actually only ended up doing Scarefest at Alton Towers and the Journey to Hell Freak Nights event at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. We were on the invite for Tully's press night, but we just couldn't make it work, unfortunately, to get down there. Just too much else going on. As some of you follow our channel may know, we're going to Florida in a few days' time, and just everything's been on the last minute preparations for that, to be honest. We've been struggling to fit everything else in. Next year we'll go more all out for Halloween, I think. So, as I said, we only really went to Scarefest and Freak Nights at Pleasure Beach, so I think Scarefest, really enjoyed it. We really enjoyed all of the mazes there this year. Our favourite maze at Scarefest was, mine was Subspecies, I think. And I think if you asked Stevie, she'd probably say the Attic, but she's not here to provide her own opinion. But yeah, the Subspecies Obviously, it's been around at Alton Towers for a few years now. The last year, it just kind of felt like it was kind of good last year, but it was very, very dark. Whereas this year, I felt like it was better lit, but still, if anything, it was more intense. And some really good actor interactions in there this year, and really, really enjoyed it. So, subspecies for me, I think. Roaming actors, I can't really comment on that because other than the Alton Ancestors, Scarefest didn't have any this year, which was a shame. The Ancestors were alright. We only really saw them in passing a few times around the park, and they didn't seem to be doing that much interaction with guests, which was a shame. So again, hopefully we'll get to some more events next year and see some better quality roaming actors, and maybe we'll see something a little bit different at Towers as well. And then I'm going to have to look at my message from Scott because I can't remember what the last question was. Oh, the scare event that surprised me the most. Well, I only went to the Scarefest. Obviously, we've already been to Scarefest previous years, and then Journey to Hell Freak Nights was a brand new event this year. To be fair, a few teething problems there, but overall, I think it's definitely got a lot of potential, and it'll be interesting to see where Pleasure Beach takes it in the next few years. But yeah, so nothing's really surprised me in a good way. I tell you what, actually, the Attic and Darkest Depths, the new mazes this year at Towers, obviously the two brand new things. Towers have put a lot of effort into the theming behind those, so yeah, not so much an event, but mazes, they surprised me in a good way. They were really good, and I'd highly recommend, if they're still there next year, that you give them a go.
A massive thank you to Kip, Jack, Tom and Stace, the Scare Track podcast, and Springy Tales for sending in the videos with your highlights from the Halloween season. Really appreciate the time you took to put those together for PBE Monthly. Now it's time though to move on from the Halloween season and from the theme park season. Where did 2019 go? It doesn't seem like 5 minutes since we were all in Wetherspoons in Blackpool on the first Friday of the Pleasure Beach season, all chatting, talking about what we've been doing on the off season, looking forward to a new theme park season, and it's gone. It's just gone like that. Just, where does time go? It just seems to pass quicker and quicker every year. But yeah, what a Pleasure Beach experience going to be doing over the closed season. Well, the first thing that we always do when the Pleasure Beach is closed is still spend quite a lot of time in Blackpool, where we go up, film a couple of updates, see what's going on. It's usually all similar stuff that we film, but we just chat about what's going on. We usually see all the coaster carriages in the car park, and you can see a couple of things from outside the park, scaffolding, and other bits and bobs going on, cranes and things moving about the area. We have heard a few rumours that there could be some interesting things to see at the Pleasure Beach going on from outside of the park. I'm not going to speculate on them in case I get it completely wrong on what Pleasure Beach might be doing, but we are going to be up there as much as possible. It will mostly be me and Becca going up there and getting the updates, but I'm sure at some point Mike and Mark will join me for those. And it is always interesting to see what's going on at the Pleasure Beach over the winter. They do so much work in such a short space of time, and that's why we do see things going a little bit haywire over the opening weekend, with rides sometimes breaking down or not opening, or just having a few general issues with the cold weather and stuff like that. But it's not because Pleasure Beach aren't working on those rides, it's just because they've been shut down for 3 months and they've got to get going again, basically. It takes a while to get up and get moving for them. Even with the testing and all the work that's done over the closed season, it does take a bit of a while for the rides to get going again, and we don't really see them at their best until a couple of weeks in the season. But it's always nice to get back to Pleasure Beach in February. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of off-season updates of the Pleasure Beach, and hopefully lots to see from outside of the park. But there is going to be no new rides at Blackpool Pleasure Beach in 2020. We'd know about them by now. We would have seen marketing campaigns for them towards the end of the season just gone. As an example, when Skyforce was being planned at the Pleasure Beach, and when we knew it was coming, we saw at the end of 2014 Pleasure Beach were doing the marketing to say we've got a new ride coming in 2015. There was teasers, and eventually the name was revealed and things like that. And of course with Icon was, well, we knew it was coming for ages really, didn't we? Because the Tom Sawyer Bridge was removed at the end of 2015. Then we saw all the markings in 2016, which started all the speculation, and that was really good times, especially given that we were just starting out on PBE doing the videos all the time for YouTube. It gave us quite a lot to talk about in 2016 when all the markings came on the ground, the bridge was gone. It was what are Pleasure Beach doing. We'd all heard that they were going to build a launch coaster, but we didn't know exactly who was building it or what it was going to be like. So that was exciting, but going back to the point, that's the kind of thing that we would have already seen if a new coaster or a new ride was coming next year. We'd know about it, we would have seen the groundwork happening for it, we would have heard about it. So yeah, there's no new rides coming in 2020, but I do think there's going to be some interesting changes around the park. Of course, there's more work to be done with the Bolodrome, which I think we'll see. Question is what's going to happen around the fountain area. We've seen for quite a lot of this season the top area of the FY4 Bean Street area has been closed off, whereas years before you could go and sit up there and watch the fountain, have your dinner and be joined by the seagulls usually, but that's been closed off for a lot of this season, so it does make you wonder if there's changes planned for that area of the park. Of course, many people would like to see something where Trauma Towers was across from the way as well. So it's going to be an interesting off-season for the Pleasure Beach, but there's no new rides coming for 2020, so I just thought it was worth mentioning that. So if you do hear any rumours about new rides, I don't think it's worth believing them, because there is not going to be new rides at Blackpool Pleasure Beach in 2020. So what else is PBE going to do over the closed season? Hyde Park Winter Wonderland's back. We'll be going there at least once. I'm hoping to get in 2 visits, but it's a long way from home, so we'll see how we go with that one. But definitely going on the first Saturday. We'll be covering Stoke Winter Wonderland as well. That's really not far from home for me, so that's a nice easy one to go and check out when it opens, do a little vlog, see what rides are there. I'd imagine it'll be very similar to what it's been the last couple of years, but we'll still go down, check it out, see how it's doing, and film a vlog as we will at Hyde Park Winter Wonderland. So something a bit more exciting is Portaventura in December. Really looking forward to doing that. I always really enjoy Portaventura Christmas. I'm not going on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve or anything like that, but me and Mark are going in early December. We will be filming a vlog, we'll get some off-ride footage, hopefully film some of the shows as well, and it'll be good to go and do some coasters in the Spanish sun as long as it's sunny. Every time I've gone in December it's always been really nice weather, so I hope I've not jinxed that for this time. And always as well, the rides are always really quiet at that time of the year. A lot of the locals tend to go in the park, but they tend to just soak up the atmosphere, watch the saloon show mainly, and watch the big show in the Grand Theatre in the China area of the park. That tends to be where all the focus is in December at Portaventura. Again, I hope I've not jinxed that, because I'm hoping to get on lots of rides when we go over, but I'm also hoping to see the shows as well, because they always put a lot of effort into it. We might even nip in and do a couple of rides in Ferrari Land as well, but we'll see how we are for time. Moving on from there, we go into January, where we'll have done quite a few updates from Pleasure Beach. We've got the Portaventura vlog. We'll have done a couple of chatty videos with me, Mike, Mark, and hopefully Mullet. He does live a long way away from us also. It's a bit harder to get him in PBE Monthly as often as we would like, but there is of course going to be a December PBE Monthly. But moving on, we'll be quite busy up until Christmas. So then on to January, and that's when it can get a little bit tedious waiting for the new season to start. So we've decided that we're going to go to Efteling. I'm not the biggest fan of Efteling, so this is going to be my chance to try and really enjoy that park. It'll be my 3rd ever visit. The 2 visits previous have been okay. The last one was good because we had the club event there, but the park as a whole does not do anything for me, so I'm hoping on the 3rd time of visiting that'll change, but we'll see. But we will be vlogging. You can film POVs there, so I'm probably going to do a couple of POVs, get a park footage video, and we'll do a vlog. So one to keep an eye out for, because that one could be very mixed opinions. That's me and Mullet going. Mullet absolutely loves Efteling, whereas I'm not so sure on it. So that one could be a vlog of very different opinions and well worth watching. And then we get to the point where a couple of weeks after that we're going to start seeing things like rides testing at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, and before we know it, Pleasure Beach will be open again, which is what we all want to see. So it's going to be a busy closed season. There's going to be lots going on. There's going to be lots of updates. There's going to be lots of visits to parks that are open. I've had a look at some flights to Cologne for Phantasialand, which was absolutely freezing in January this year, but it is tempting to go again. This year, we got the flights for a £10 return, so if we can do that again, I'm pretty sure that we'll be going, even if Taron at -7 was not so fun. But again, it's something that we would enjoy doing, because Taron is a great coaster, Black Mamba's a great coaster, and Phantasialand's a really nice park, especially over winter. They really decorate it really nicely. So that's one we're going to be looking at pretty soon to see if the flights are reasonable. And also, even though we said in the vlog that we wouldn't go back to this place for a while, flights to Madrid for Park Warner are looking quite good in December. Park Warner's open in December too, so that might be another one that we fit in as well, because I found flights pretty cheap over to Madrid around the start of December too. So yeah, one to keep an eye out for. But we have got so much planned in the closed season, which isn't really a closed season anymore because there's still plenty of places you can go and ride coasters, just not in the UK particularly. But yeah, I hope you enjoy everything that we do over the closed season on Pleasure Beach Experience, and I really hope you've enjoyed all of the Pleasure Beach content that we've provided. We do have more content from the Pleasure Beach in terms of a big park footage video. From all the daylight footage I got, I've held so much of it back because I've been looking forward to doing a big park footage video for the closed season. Also, still got a couple of little things to upload from the Pleasure Beach season review. We're going to do the top 10. We're going to do your top 10 at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. We did it about 4 years ago now, where we got over 300 people to vote for their favourite ride at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, and then we compiled a top 10 of coasters and non-coasters to see what our viewers at the time saw as the best ride at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Back then though, there was Wild Mouse and no Icon, so it's definitely going to be different this time. I know most people will probably go with Icon, but we're going to be doing that. We need to update those top 10s. It's not going to be our personal top 10s, it's going to be like a viewer's top 10 video where we say what's your favourite coasters, what's your favourite non-coasters. We'll be putting those out soon to get the opinions on it, so we can film that one in the next couple of weeks. We are also working on a website too, which will completely change how we advertise our club events for 2020, and also give lots of information on those events and events that are going to be happening quite a way away. We are planning something for 2021 already, which will be our biggest event ever, and it will be open to everyone to book on the website. All the details will be on there once I've finalised all the information, but that is a massive project for me, and it will be the best event that we ever do if we manage to pull that one off. So we'll see how it goes, but keep an eye out for the website. Once we've got that sorted, it will be advertised on our socials. If you don't follow us already, we're on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as well. But yeah, a massive thank you for all of your support in 2019 so far. We've got loads more to come until the end of the season, until the end of the year. The season's gone, until the end of 2019. And then into 2020, where we'll be even more lively on the YouTube channel. But so far, it's been a pleasure to see so much support on the channel. I really, really appreciate the time that everyone takes to watch our videos, to comment, to talk to us at theme parks and wherever you may meet us. It's been great chatting to so many people. So yeah, that's it for this month's PBE Monthly. PBE Monthly will be back in December, at the start of December. Hopefully going to have Mike, Mark and Mullet for that one, but we've just got to try and tie it in for us all to be able to do it at the same time. We're still planning that one as well. So if there's anything you'd like us to discuss, please let us know in the comments, and we'll certainly have a look into what we can discuss. So thanks for watching. Thanks to everyone who's contributed to this episode of PBE Monthly, and I'll see you in the next Pleasure Beach Experience video.